We thank you most sincerely for letting us into your homes again today, this weekend, and we promise you that you will not regret any minute of it. It's Weekend Deal on the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA. We often boast about our reach, and it's not because we know how to talk or because we talk all the time. It's because we go nationwide, and when necessary, we use our international leverage to bring you information that will better impact you. Guess where we're going today? Something you watch all the time, and if you love Nigeria as we do, you must have tracked their history. We're talking about the movie industry. From the time of living in bondage in 1992 up till now, we've been celebrating the Nigerianness of our movie industry. We stand proud, because our actors are known all over the world. How many can we call? Is it the women? Is it the Omotola Jalades, the Genevieve Naji, who was that beautiful lady we hosted recently?
Oh, Mona Lisa.
Mona Lisa Chinda Koka. You name it, we have the Funke Akindeles, then the males, a myriad of them, Kenneth Okonkwo and many more. They are recognized on the continent and in the world because of that creative genius that is Nigerian. We know who we are, we know where we stand, and we know what we can bring to the table. We are recognized by the Oscars as well. We have one of us is on the panel, Omotola Kende, she's there. We know that Genevieve's movie made an intro into Netflix.
Lionheart.
Yes, Lionheart. And right now we're celebrating the 6 billion-ness of it. Talking about the tribe of Judah.
Yes.
That's boastfully. We say it though because she worked hard for it. Talking about Funke Akindele. There's a lot more we can celebrate about this industry. But we will not forget the role that the NTA played in birthing the Nollywood industry that we celebrate today. I know that our iconic leader, Peter Igo, was there at the forefront when this industry was being birthed. But there's more. I will let Patience share that with you. My name is Thelma Obaze. Welcome once again.
Lights, camera, action, entertaining us, putting smiles on our faces, mirroring the society and calling us to action. As a matter of fact, creating satires that do not only make us laugh, but cause us to think. Showcasing the rich tapestry of our cultural diversity and tradition, telling our stories the way no one else can and no one else will, also from our own very perspective. That is the Nigerian movie industry. It is also called Nollywood. And Nollywood today is a phenomenon that stands as the second largest producer of films in the world. It is contributing significantly to our GDP, and it has also produced over 200,000 jobs for Nigerians. This beautiful industry will continue to rise and continue to grow as far as it continues to churn out amazing content. Today on the show, we stop to celebrate the beauty, the creativity, the resilience, and the passion that is Nollywood. It is your favorite weekend show, Weekend Deal, coming to you from the network service of the NTA. I mean it with all sense of integrity when I say, Thelma, we are here only because they are there.
Yeah.
You're right, right? I'm right, right?
Definitely.
I go right.
Every time they're there.
We are here. We are happy you're keeping our company.
It's our creative industry that we're highlighting today. We want to bring them to the fore in an unusual way. Of course, you know about Nollywood. You've heard about Kannywood. What else do you know? Do you know that it dates back to 1992 and before, with living in bondage? Well, there is more as we set our tone for the conversation today with our background feature. Let's see this.
Your phones! Take your shameless, irritating selves out of my house now before I change my mind.
Nigeria's film industry, affectionately known as Nollywood, is indisputably diversifying the nation's economy by creating jobs in a country that depends principally on oil and agriculture. The industry is also known to be the most popular on the African continent.
After the era of the military, it was actually Nollywood that fine-tuned and landed the image of the country to the outside world. Because when we started this democracy, everybody was trying to see that it would work, it would blend. And Nollywood played a major role in showcasing that, putting it on the front burner and making people believe that democracy is the best thing that will happen to a country like ours. And in that, it also helped to put so many people, out of the streets. When Nollywood started, it was something everybody wanted to be on the screen. And like when it moved to Enugu, most of the retirees that were there in Enugu, many of them joined Nollywood, and they don't have to lazy at home. And it made so many people come out, and it put food on the table of so many.
No nation has been able to achieve development without proactive promotion of its essential cultural component. And this is true because culture is an integral aspect of the life of a people. Much of the Americanization of the world is due to the fact that Hollywood movies emphasize, promote, and project the American people and nation in a form that must appeal to the viewers. Thus, from watching Hollywood movies, the tendency to be American is developed.
Most of the people that they are allowed to run Nollywood are businessmen, and to them, there's no good news like bad news. America, for every war film they do, America always wins. So you know that America is indefeatable. You can't do Nigerian film when the government is not supporting you. Most of the times we want to do police film, we have to beg for clothes, beg for arms. We can't get it. That's why you see somebody going to arrest somebody with a baton, a criminal, and police will say we are misinterpreting them. It's because we don't have the props to interpret that role very well. If the government will, for real, put their eyes into Nollywood, we can change so many things.
Film is used to popularize government policies and ideologies among the masses. Owing to its ability to hold and capture audience, films are used more than any other means of mass communication to promote ideas of positive social transformation, as well as to consolidate and build new relationships.
So many governments want to start selling their policies through entertainment. If it's a policy for 3 years, they'll start putting it on the screen. Then, at the point, by the time it comes out, every other person feel that it's usual. It's like that. Before Obama became president, if you watch 24, there's a film 24. They start selling a black president into the minds of people, into the consciousness of people. And it worked.
Which I am not going to be doing again.
Bro, calm down. Come on.
Nollywood films have gained widespread prominence, especially within the African continent. Even today in Nigeria, we have variations in the Nollywood industry.
There are associations, then there are these woods. The other woods that are coming are still nomenclatures. Everybody is trying to say, oh, we have something that is, showing. But the general name, whether you're Kannywood, whether you're Idoma Wood, whether you're Igbo Wood, all of them still have associations that propel all those things.
Our focus on Weekend Deal today will be on Nigeria's creative industry, movies.
Welcome back. Thank you so much, Frances. Always giving us fantastic background there that don't only set the tone but kickstart our conversation. Nollywood, or our Nigerian movie industry, is one industry that I can actually say started from nothing apart from people's resilience, hard work, passion, and a whole lot of creativity. But look at where we are today. Taking us through that story is NTA Network Center, Lagos. Let's see this, and our conversation proper will begin.
The Nigerian movie industry, otherwise known as Nollywood, is ranked the largest in Africa in terms of movie production and one of the most prolific film industries worldwide.
What's that? 3 million naira just for petrol.
With over 300 ethnic groups and languages, Nigeria's cultural diversity is greatly reflected in Nollywood storytelling techniques and movie productions, thereby preserving and celebrating the beauty in our cultural diversity.
Those who are even Nigerians and have not really been taught these cultures, these different areas of the culture, get to know about it, to learn about it, get to appreciate it. And also, non-Nigerians get to appreciate the diversity of the different cultures that we have.
One thing that I feel like we can also do to promote, the heritage, our culture, is that we should try as much as possible not to add anything that looks Western in our productions and go deep, as deep as we can go, and let people know that this is truly what our culture is all about.
Rising from a humble beginning to become a global powerhouse, stakeholders in the industry agree that Nigerian filmmakers are shaping the landscape of cinema both within Africa and the world.
I think it's estimated to be one of the three largest filmmaking industries. Hollywood, Bollywood, Nollywood are the three major ones that have been touted. And it's mainly due to the hard work and the creativity of the producers and the different other people that are involved.
Some of them have competently and professionally concentrated on, educating the people and also reflecting our cultural practices and traditions in their works, and I must respect them.
Aside from showcasing our rich cultural heritage, movie production in Nigeria has great influence in projecting our image to the world.
Whatever effort you make in terms of researching, it's that knowledge that will take you beyond your environment. You have to look, deeply, search, in a very profound way so that you don't misrepresent it.
As an industry known to churn out blockbuster movies within short periods and a force to reckon with among Committee of Nations, how much does Nollywood contribute to the nation's economy?
Of course, when they make that much money, there's taxes that they pay. There, as an organization, the different actors and actresses also pay taxes. Even before they get their money, the taxes are deducted anyway. And so they add quite a bit to the country's economy, which is why government should also increase its support for the industry.
Tracing the level of growth of the motion picture industry with the advent of streaming platforms and the rebirth of cinemas and collaborations with Hollywood and Bollywood, it is suffice to say Nollywood is making a bold statement in promoting our culture and growing the nation's gross domestic product.
Oh, amazing. We can't wait to get started. Wow. Bem, welcome. Mr. Brian Ochuk, welcome.
Thank you very much.
You are a familiar face around here. Great to have you with us again as we delve into this amazing territory, talking about Nigeria's creative industry, movie industry. They call it Nollywood. It stands on a very solid platform, and it has many brothers and sisters locally and internationally. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
While we're talking today, because many people have worked tenaciously and in a focused way to bring us to the point where we are from the 1990-somethings, the 1980-somethings, you know, and today we can celebrate this amazing industry. Let me start with you. You want to be humbly known as a filmmaker. When we say a filmmaker, what exactly are we talking about? A filmmaker in Nigeria, talking about our creative industry. What does it entail?
Okay, yeah, thank you very much for having me. Yeah, so when you say a filmmaker, this is someone who, like the word say, you make films, you create content, you produce films, you direct films, you produce content that can be seen by an audience. So that's simply what it means to be a filmmaker. There are a lot of different facets to it, different aspects to it, but is someone who actually makes films for an audience.
Okay. Okay, filmmaker and all. Okay, Mr. Brian, let me just come to you. Whether you're a filmmaker, an audience, maybe a viewer, just a viewer, whatever you are, we are all familiar with the terrain called Nollywood. And of course, the journey has been on for some years now. But do you think we are where we're supposed to be as far as telling our stories, weaving our stories, and entertaining audiences are concerned?
Well, thank you once more for having me here. And straight to your question, we obviously would have been better placed than where we are. Okay. We have what it takes to be where we ought to be. But we have to give kudos to our filmmakers, you know, and other agencies of government, you know, that have provided the enabling environment for us to be where we are. And because of we've navigated through a lot of challenges to get to where we are. Even other filmmakers from around the world are thrilled by how excuse me, by how we've been able to navigate through all these challenges within a short period of time to be where we are. So obviously, for me, I will give some close to 90% that we've done so well to be where we are, but we can do better, and there are avenues to do better, and we are engaging.
Okay.
Yeah.
We know that we have a guest in Lagos, you know, talking about filmmaking, because using that word filmmaker, it encompasses a bit more than what we know it to be, because we have young people who can just use their phones, do a shot, take a few, they post it anywhere. Content. So I wanted to look at that professional person who you are. You know, it's not, there are different degrees of filmmaking, but we'll talk more about that, because we have one of our friends in Lagos who will also be contributing to our conversation. Zik Zulu Okafor, my friend, long time. Well, we see his profile first, and we get to touch base with him in Lagos. Mr. Zik Zulu Okafor, I'm a veteran who has paid his dues. I like to use that word, pay your dues, or his dues or her dues, when someone indeed has a staying power in a particular field. Well done, and I'll say congratulations for all you've done for the Nigerian film industry. Okay, today they say we are the second largest film producers in the world. Sounds really nice, but I'm worried. Is it all a total compliment? Are we churning out
the right materials, or we're just turning out so many movies that in numbers we are the greatest, but are we greatest in everything? Content, quality, and production. Please speak to that, sir.
Hollywood is still, an industry on the go. We're still growing. But yes, when you talk about being the second in the world, it's in terms of number of films produced, not financially, because I remember I was doing a research, I think it was in 2014, and I had to go to America, to Georgia Tech, and then University of California, Los Angeles. In the course of my research, I found out that in that particular year, Hollywood made about 346 films or so, or 400, about 463 films. And then that year it grossed $546 billion. That same year, Nollywood, I can't remember the number of films, but it made about, it totaled about 1.72 trillion naira, which at that time amounted to about 11 billion naira. But Nollywood produces more films than Hollywood. So it's about the number, not the in economic terms. So yes, in number we have done well, but there's a lot more to do, because we need more distribution to be able to generate more funds. So India is number one, but in terms of financially speaking, Hollywood remains number one, India number two, that's Bollywood, and then Nollywood number three. So, but if you compare them, our journeys, you will see that Nollywood has really thrived, because we are confronted with a whole lot of challenges. Distribution is very poor. You check how many screens do you have in Nigeria to show films? Less than perhaps 600 or something. I can't remember very well. But when you go to America, you're talking about hundreds of thousands. Same thing you're talking about, you said same thing in India. So there's a whole different we need facilities to do more. I think we need partnerships with government, with the organized private sector, to be able to push the industry a little further. A whole lot of people come to say, before me, that you don't need government to do this business. You don't need government. What you need is, but you need government. Because the industry, for instance, is not structured. There's no law backing the practice in Hollywood. Therefore, you can't really regulate it. And if you can't do some of these things, you are not able to move forward. Today, it's a priority area for government, for instance. Nollywood is contributing, after the rebasing, about 2% or 2.5% to the GDP. So government, there's a few things we still need to do to be able to get the industry to work. We need to pass regulations that can help the industry. So the numbers are good, but numbers don't translate to money. We need to do a lot more to begin to see Nollywood play a more active role in contributing to the GDP of this country.
Mr. Brown, maybe you take it from here. Someone can't just say, okay, I have resources, I got this equipment, I have a script, and I want to make a movie. It takes some level of expertise to produce a movie that people will come and watch. And sometimes you need a name. So first off, how do you set about creating that name? What do you take into consideration if you want to produce, create, direct a movie that will be worth its weight in gold?
Well, thank you for the question. And like I said earlier, we give kudos to our filmmakers, who have brought us to where we are. But like Zulu said, there are some challenges, and I feel that we could have done better, or we can still do better than what we have. Now, the issue in filmmaking is this. We have people who have the passion to tell stories. We have people who have the passion to direct. They have creative instincts, but these creative instincts have to be sharpened. We have to, put them in some place to incubate them and then make them try to get the best out of them. Why some movies don't make the screens is because there are basic elements that are lacking. Those basic elements would have been enhanced with little trainings, little additional knowledge, padding here and there, going to film schools, submitting yourself to further knowledge, because you must expose, you must give yourself up for additional information on what you want to do. So if those are basically lacking, obviously you are not going to give us the best to watch. So we have those teething problems. Now you have to be schooled. We have film schools across the country. We have the basic ones. We have the National Film Institute. We have other universities. We have other film academies that are coming up. We feel knowledge is not lost. We feel that even at the highest point of your creative instincts, you should be able to also submit yourself to some more knowledge, because the industry is evolving. Technology is evolving. So many things are evolving. AI is now in place. So many things. So how do you navigate through these evolvements to give us, to give us the best on the screen? So people now, audiences want to watch the best. They want to have value for their money. They want to make investors, people who are behind the producers who are bringing money. They want to make sure that if they put money here, they are going to get it back. So how do you now, as a filmmaker, say, okay, I'm going to have to go for investment inflow. I'm going to get some support to do this. You must full complement from your casting, from your story, to distribution, to all of those things. They matter a lot. So like now, we have dearth of distribution platforms. Because of that, our creatives are finding it difficult to express. Such expressions are limited because there are no effective distribution channels for people to watch, for us to have the feedback and return on investment. So a lot, as we keep going forward, we need to open the space. We must have some regulatory frameworks that we know that will aid in upping the game. Otherwise, we just remain where we are and we just be going around the full circle.
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. Brian. Mr. Peve, I know you are in it yourself. You are in it. You're in the grind. So tell us, one, I want you to answer in two parts. First, do you think the lack of structure, because you can imagine, do we have Script Writers Association, Nollywood Script, or the Creative Industry Script Writers Association? Do we have a Directors Guild? Do we have all this? Or do we lack these structures? And what are your personal challenges? You are a filmmaker. What are the challenges you face day to day as you try to tell beautiful documentary stories, film stories and all? What are your challenges?
Well, first of all, in terms of guilds, we have, we have a lot of guilds in the film industry. We have the Writers Guild, we have the Producers Guild, we have the, the Directors Guild, we have the Actors Guild, and these guilds function at, at different levels, and you have to be part of these guilds to be able to, to function better. The organization of these guilds is also something that is very important in the film industry, because these guilds are supposed to be well organized so that they can cater for the welfare and the development of the industry in Nigeria. Now, talking about the challenges in filmmaking, and I like, when I want to talk about challenges, I like to be very practical, because, we make films all the time. And, one of the biggest challenges we have, like he said earlier on, is distribution. Distribution is, because you want to make a film as a producer and you want to sell this film. At the heart of it, we know that we love telling stories. We want to tell beautiful stories. We want the audience to watch our stories. But beyond that, people invest into this industry. People invest into your film. People invest into whatever you're doing. And they're investing not because of anything. They're investing because they want return. It's business. It's business. So when you make your film, at the end of the day, where do you go to distribute? I mean, in Nigeria at the moment, we have, either you go to the cinemas, you go to the streaming platforms like Netflix or Amazon, or what is very popular in these days is going on YouTube. To do. But then these avenues are very, very limited. One of the things I say in recent times is that, is there a way that Nigeria or Africa in itself can come up with a distribution platform or a distribution plan where we make our films and we're able to, even if we say let's distribute it within just Africa, and we're able to make profit, because we are a continent that is, the population is a lot. Nigeria, we're over 200 million people.
Big market.
So, but where are the distribution channels? through which we can, make our films and distribute them. So it's a very big challenge. And one other challenge is also going into capacity building, because training is very key. The training you don't have, the knowledge you don't have, you can't give it. We have so many stories that need to be told. We have not even started scratching the stories that we need to tell in Nigeria. If you come to the north, for instance, there's so many stories, the Bayajida stories, the Queen Amina stories. There's so many of them. If you come to the Middle Belt, if you go to the south, there's so many stories. We need to invest into our stories in such a way that writers should be trained, because at the heart of filmmaking is story. I'm not going to watch, people don't necessarily go to watch film because they want to see the technology,
the story.
No, they want to see the story. They want to watch a film. They want to watch a good film. How do you tell the story?
Yes.
Back in the day when we tell African stories like folklores, we gather people and we tell these stories. But film is not that. Film is using camera to tell a story. So we need to invest into training people, into training especially young people who are interested in making films. So that's one of the challenges that we have. I mean, I know that it's getting better. There are a lot of different avenues where trainings are going on in Lagos, in Abuja, in Jos. We have the training, place in Jos, and it's so many talents have come from there. But I think we need to do more, and we also need to collaborate internationally as well. To be able to
foreign investment into
we're
our
already doing
industry.
some of that.
Yes.
We need to do more. You talked about people not coming to watch AI or technology. I think it's a fine blend of all, because he said something that is very practical. It's in our faces now. We're not watching stories being told the way they used to. We need to tell them in a way that can align with the mind of young people, adults, aged, and everybody is thinking front burner, front burner, front burner. They've become so versatile in their thinking, and that must apply. So the script must be good, technology must be producer too on point, director too on point. Everything must be top grade. We can't say because we're Nigerian, telling Nigerian stories and folklore, we will do it in a way that is unique only to us. If we're selling to the world, we must package our movies in a global style that everyone who watches, whether it's Edo, from Benue, Middle Belt, outside, they can align, because it's interesting. Even when they can't speak a language, if a movie is well told, people will still enjoy, don't you think?
Surprisingly,
we will learn more, because we know we have a load of things you can teach us today. But I'm being told to take a break. We take that break on Weekend Deal. We will be back. Don't you dare go anywhere.
Weekend Deal. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, it is Weekend Deal, and our focus today is on our movie industry. How far so far? We have a very special guest in Lagos, Zik Zulu, who's been a part of this conversation. I'll be throwing this question to you. Recently, one of your colleagues, a veteran like you, Okanayo, we're talking about distribution here, and he talked about the fact that everybody has access to YouTube, and Nigerian filmmakers are not going through the right process. They're just churning out content and putting on YouTube. He said, I think he made an example of somebody turning out so many films in just a few number of days to ensure shooting a whole movie in a record time just to make up and get great content. Do you think this is actually affecting the quality of movies we produce here in Nigeria?
Of course it will affect it, in which way you look at it. You see, when the industry started, I'm glad I was one of those people. I remember in 1996 when I made my first film. It was taken as a serious industry, even though we all took a plunge into it after the success of Living in Bondage. Without knowing what it held for all of us, we took a plunge into the industry as young graduates of the arts. But then you see that there was ambition, there was conviction that it could be a serious industry. And so for that reason, there was a systematic approach to what we were doing. First, the script writing, you see there's a script conference. People come together after someone had developed what you call synopsis of a story. You look at the synopsis, then develop it into a story, and then there's a whole script conference to discuss the story again, and then look at the treatment plot, and then the script is written. After that, again, there's a conference to analyze the whole script. so much critique done, and finally you have a script, then you now go through the process of casting and then rehearsal, serious rehearsal before production is done. And so when you see a movie, the acting is true to life. It's not an attempt to sell yourself. It is about living the character that you're playing. You see, so it was serious, and then it continued to develop more and more in terms of the technical aspect of the industry. But today, the problem we had then was that the market was opaque. So distribution was an issue. You just make a film, you hand over to somebody that's a marketer, and then there was no transparency. So you're not able to see how your film is moving, except what you're told by the marketer, distributor, quote and unquote. So it was difficult. But there was seriousness, there was professionalism. But today, yes, technically we have developed in terms of our ability to handle the cameras, do treatment. There's an advancement. We've made a lot of progress. But also the quest for survival, because distribution is still a problem. Because the filmmaker still walks through, filmmaking is a long walk through the Golgotha. You work so hard and there's very little reward. So the filmmaker is constantly looking for avenues for distribution. And with the emergence of the OTT platforms, I'm talking about Netflix, Amazon, and some of them, there's a little more hope for the filmmaker because the financial reward is better than it used to be. But it's far from being enough. And these platforms are too few, too little to, accommodate the number of films being churned out in a place like Nigeria. So people have to look for alternatives. And then came YouTube, where you can drop anything. And once people watch, you're earning a living. So people say making films. So you hear today YouTube producers, YouTube actors, naturally, because it's about the numbers. Quality had to drop. The investment in the films are much less than what you invest when you're making a film for a cinema, or when you're making for a Netflix or Amazon. So KOK is not frivolous. I think he made a very strong point. And I still believe that we can, and don't get me wrong, there are still some good films in YouTube, quite, good films. But there's no question that there's a whole lot of deterioration, a whole lot of diminishing in terms of quality, because nobody's stopping you from putting the film in there. So you just keep making the numbers. And once people are watching from across the world, you're in business. So really it is affected the quality of production.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Well, yes, I definitely agree with you. I mean, when the whole YouTube thing, when it came up, it's because of the need to find an alternative way of distribution, and because filmmaking is usually very, very expensive. But for YouTube, things like YouTube, you just get some few million, maybe like 2 million, 100 or thereabout, and then you're able to make these short films or this series, low budget with these actors. But the question is that growing the industry? So this is why we keep saying there has to be a balance. We need to find alternative ways of distribution where we're not losing quality. We're still pushing good quality, because it's global. We can't just say we're doing our films that we'll just consume just here. If you make a YouTube film, for instance, which I'm not condemning that really, but what I'm saying is that if you make YouTube films, how long does that last? People watch it like in a month. After like a month, that's it. They forgot about it, But when you make quality films that take process, that take time, that take, like he's saying, it takes from writer's workshop, through that whole rehearsal process, through planning, through careful planning, and looking at it again through editing, it becomes an artwork that can be seen.
Last a lifetime.
Last
a lifetime.
So, I agree with him. From my own perspective, I believe that we should be wary of the simplicity of the YouTube channels, that wing, that low-hanging fruit, so that we do not lose quality productions, because it takes so much of efforts, like he said, in preparing a script, getting people, casting, equipment, finance, looking for location and all of that to make a good film. So let us not, it was just a soft window for people to keep expressing themselves that look, but we must be wary of the dangers of that platform, and not so that we don't lose steam of the quality.
Indeed.
They could be, but people could be frustrated. And in our own world, where we don't have free Wi-Fi and all of those things, how many people actually, get to be watching and all of? So, people must have value for having to burn their data watching things, exactly. So, if you do an audience audit, you discover that people can be following on the YouTube channels and all of that, but are they having value for their data that they are burning?
At the end of the day, okay.
So
it may seem so.
So we must be able to match our creativity with innovations. We just have to do that. And I just felt that I should just let you know, tomorrow is the World Creativity and Innovation Day.
Tomorrow?
Yes. Yes. So this program is apt. We must sustain the conversations on how to be innovative in our creativity. What are we doing? What should we be doing? What are the engagements that we should bring to the table to make sure that we put our film industry where it ought to be?
Okay, we'll get to learn more about that, because there's no more timely moment than now as we discuss it and we get to learn more. But in spite of the challenges we face, there are many names that have come to the front burner. They are in the faces, not just of Nigerians, they are on the global stage because of their tenacity, their focus, their commitment, and perhaps their knowledge. Many of them have learned and they are bringing it forth. Well, Talatu has been doing her research. Who are those women who are the front line of the Nollywood industry? Talatu, please celebrate them.
Well, Enemy said, I should talk to you. You start losing weight. Boya, from there, you will find a husband.
In the heart of Africa, where vibrant cultures collide, Nigeria's creative industry thrives. From music to film, fashion to literature, Nigeria pulses with creativity.
Oh, you think this is a joke? Please. I'm sure my boss didn't mean any harm.
The boys didn't mean any harm. Like I said, I'm not a member of their family.
In terms of female, now in the front burner of the creative industry, yes, there are more females now. In fact, unlike 10 years ago, where the male, were dominating that particular space. So we have female producers, we have directors, we have, in fact, women actually mounting the cameras on the shoulders, and then every other technicalities, women are beginning to dominate that space of making movies behind the scenes, and there are more collaborations now with women. Women are working with women, and bringing about very fantastic results. Contents are everywhere on the social space. Apart from the fact that we can no longer wait for government funding, we have to, take the bull by the horn by showing our content on YouTube and other social space, and and every content is being streamlined. Streamings are yielding dividends.
Hey! Which kind of devil is this?
This feature delves into the pulsating world of Nigerian cinema, where women have emerged from the shadows to claim the spotlight, not just as muses, but as master storytellers and industry shapers.
The biggest legacy I will leave for posterity is you, my daughter.
These days, women are just going on to acquire skills and doing the necessary learning, not necessarily getting a degree from school, because all we're all thinking about now is how to shape not just the industry, even making sure that there are better ways to making money in the creative industry. So women are getting better at it. Better storytellers, better stories are being told.
Nigeria's film industry stands proudly as the world's second largest producer of movies, a testament to its prolific nature and its significant contribution to the nation.
So why don't go start one club where they say they don't strike, they no go jangle over with their husband again.
What did you just say?
You heard exactly what I said.
And if you heard what I said, you would have heard me say we.
Wielding cameras and scripts as tools of change and empowerment. These women are not just part of Nollywood, they are redefining it. Every new song, every film, a canvas for female-led innovation. Let's amplify their impact, celebrate their achievements, and create an inclusive creative industry where everyone thrives.
We're still dealing with sexual harassment. And of course, women have a way of accepting some of these challenges, which is, they rather not struggle with a man. They'll rather say, you know what, whatever. But because we're now being given the liberty to speak, that is not, a liberty, freedom of speech, liberty to be able to be heard and being the better versions of ourselves. So yeah, we still struggle with the sexual harassment. We're also still struggling with the fact that we are still unable to get the right funding.
Remember, change happens not only through words, but within the spaces we create. Let's champion their voices, uplift women, and build a brighter, more creative Nigeria.
No, my Janglova! I go meet you for the same place, But the Janglova now until strike don't finish.
So when women come to any space, they begin to define it. They come with everything, their womanness, their motherliness, their ability to nurture and push that space to another level. That's what we do as women. And so it's not a surprise that women in Nollywood are blazing trail. The Shan Georges, the Moabudus, Rita Dominic, Genevieve. I can go on and on. Mrs. Zulu, I'm sure you saw that short story. Trying us to celebrate our women. What do you think of these women who are blazing trail in Nollywood?
I don't know what to say about them. I mean, our women have done very well. I do not know whether there's really any difference, because in the industry, we just see ourselves as a collective and we work together. Women are in their genes just like men. There's a free flow of interaction and all that. But our women have emerged since the beginning. Some have become iconic within the industry. I mean, Genevieve and Co may look relatively young, but they have become iconic characters within Nollywood. People like Liz Benson, Rita Dominic, Mona Lisa, Chinda, and a whole lot of them. And then the new generation of people. They have done, amazing things. And then, and I think they're being recognized because some of them are getting appointments by government, inviting them to help in developing, the younger generations in their states, creating agencies that absorb some of these veteran filmmakers, and they're helping to develop, the industry, spread the industry in all the states, within the country. So women have done incredibly well. Before, initially, it was all about acting, makeup, and all that. But they've since, become everything. The women are even dominating the industry at the moment in terms of producing. They are dominating. The biggest films today are produced by women. So that's fantastic. Women are doing great work in script writing. They are handling cameras. They are directing. We have fantastic directors among the women. So, they are superstars. We have no reason but to celebrate them and to say kudos for what they have done. We are very proud of Nollywood in terms of what our women are doing. The men at the moment are actually behind the women in terms of the number of great films we are seeing. And then it's a good development. So there's really no tiny line, not to talk of a gulf between the men and the women. We are together. There's a confluence of hope for all of us, what we made. That's what it is.
The involvement of women in film production, obviously, like Zulu said, some of them, they started from screen appearances, but over time they also learned the rudiments of filmmaking. They saw the opportunities, they submitted themselves to learning, to exactly mentorship and all of that. And then, like you said, somebody who is gone through and has patiently given herself to some of these opportunities. Obviously, we'll be doing better.
Yes.
We'll be doing absolutely better, and then complement what others are doing. So it's not that the women, they just drop from the blues. They actually had to pay some dues. They did. They paid some dues to do that, and so we give them that kudos. And I think, like Zulu said, he mentioned some names. Let's give it to Let Amaka Igwe. I mean,
Amaka Igwe.
Those women are iconic. They really gave time, opportunities for development talents of other women.
Indeed, indeed. And that's why Nollywood is on a global stage today. The men working, women working together tenaciously is taking Nigeria to the front line. Let's see this from Joss.
Let's take the students as our own children.
Nigeria's creative industry is a thriving sector driven by talented individuals with great potential and global footprint. It has become a strong exporter of culture.
We have been able to experience a large starlight activity, especially within the filmmaking field of endeavor. Hitting the nail on Nollywood, Nollywood has been able to transcend using a large leap over a period in time.
Movies in Nigeria, also referred to as Nollywood, have gained widespread popularity globally over the years. The blockbuster movies in Nigeria have captivated audiences not only in Africa, but also around the world due to their unique storytelling and cultural richness.
Even on the plateau, if we want to look at Plateau State, there are, I think, about 52 tribes on the plateau. So imagine if every tribe would tell a story about their tribe. Something, it could be about their food, it could be about the warriors in that tribe, it could be about how the tribe came about or how the people came to be. So if we look at it, we have a wide range of things that we can touch in Nigeria and make it a story, and it will be so interesting and captivating.
However, one significant aspect to look out for when it comes to standards in production is quality.
I would say we've grown in leaps and bounds technically. From cameras that we're using, VHS, Betamax, and so on and so forth. Now we are using Red camera, we are using globally broadcast standard cameras, that can rub shoulder with any other system, including cellular to some extent. And sound quality had also improved tremendously. So we don't have, issues technically like we used to in the past. Our lighting had improved, greatly. Today we have gaffers who have trained, across the world from different parts of the world working in Nollywood. We have also been able to have access to editing facilities that can support your production process and give you quality, edited materials.
How does the Nigerian movies impacted the society negatively?
Just a few of our movies, very few. Out of, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would just say 2% of some of these movies have been able to create inspirational impact that has impacted the world. And that impact actually, I wouldn't say impacts the world, but has impacted certain platforms in diaspora that has awarded them an opportunity to be able to do more films.
Nigerian filmmakers are making Nigeria proud by flying the flag globally. Therefore, the path of adapting successful Nigerian movies is enormous in becoming a major revenue earner and generating employment in the country.
Okay, well, Nigerians are flying our flag high, putting us on the world stage creatively. We are proud. Okay, this message, let me quickly take this message and then it's a Michael Oga Igove from Lagos, Nigeria. Mr. Bem was very right when he talked about the channel of distribution. The directors and the story managers should also work on their skills in providing mature films to make it more real, not easily guessed or predicted. Yes, Mr. Bam, do you think at this point, I mean, we've come a long way. Why are we having stories that, I mean, why should they get our storyline before it ends? Why should the music, what do you call that thing, when it's the song of the film, tracker? Yes.
Soundtrack.
She's dying, and at the end of the film, she actually dies. Why do we still have, honestly, like, what's the song? She's dying, her husband will leave her, and true to her husband left her, she died. Why are we still having such in Nigeria? I mean, we are bigger than that.
Yeah, so I think if you watch a lot of Nigerian films, you could have, such issues and all of that. But I think one of the biggest problems is taking time with the process, because film is not something you just say, I want to do it like so quickly and get done with it. There's a process to it. And I earlier talked about stories, spending time with stories.
Yeah, stories.
You need to go through a certain, process of telling your story. When you have your synopsis, do you go through like a writer's workshop? Do you go through like a treatment? Do you go through like an outline? Do you go through like the first draft, second draft, third draft, and fifth draft and all of that? Do you give people to vet and give you criticism and say, okay, here is working, here is not working? Do you give professionals?
Yes.
I mean, all of that process is very important from script to screen. That process is very, very important. It takes time, but sometimes writers are so emotional with their stories. When they write a story, they just quickly go through it and they're ready to shoot. That can be a problem. So stories take time, and then even on production, where do you plan?
Okay, we are coming to the end of our show. Ben, quickly say something. You're a filmmaker. Quickly say something. Say goodbye or something.
Well, thank you very much. One of the things I'd like to say is that Nollywood is a journey. Like Zeke said, we're in the process. We're not where we were before. We're not really where we should be, but we are definitely better.
Just one word, Mr. Brian, we need to go.
From the stable of the Nigerian Film Corporation, we are engaging. We are sustaining the conversation. We are working with the guilds and associations. And then we have our parent ministry to deal with, and we are very sure that the journey will take us somewhere.
And we need to go. Let's hold hands. We hold hands to say bye-bye. We hold hands. We need to go.
So as we are celebrating World Creativity and Innovation Day tomorrow, let's sustain the conversation.
Yes.
We must, the industry must move forward.
Yes.
And forward it must.
Forward we go together with Mr. Brian.
Bye. We love you. Bye.